Welcome to Hate to Wait, where two lifelong dieters talk about their current struggles with weight loss. Diets, we've tried them all. We are not doctors. We don't play them on TV or on this podcast. Join our journey because we're all in this together.
Is there some kind of like a solar electric storm coming or something that has happened in the past day? Because Facebook has been freaking out.
I think Facebook is just freaking out. There's a lot of stuff going on. People are going on social media. It's a very anxiety-ridden time right now that we are living in.
Yes, it is. Not going to lie. Because you were in the middle of the Hate to Wait opening. And on my side, you just cut out. And I was like,
really?
Yeah, I was like, oh no. But then
because I didn't hear any music. And I was like, I'm just going to keep going.
He's
going to hear a question in my voice of like, are we podcasting today?
See? So I like very professional. So how was your week? Are you recovered?
Yeah. How about you go first?
Okay. All right. No problem.
John, how are you?
All right. So for me, it's been a weird week. Like I said, there's been and you don't think that this stuff affects you, the stuff that's out there in the world, that's going on out there in the world, but it really does. You know, you see what's going on. You see the depravity that some people do. And, you know, we're talking about the shootings in El Paso and in Dayton. And for the life of me, and I mean this wholeheartedly, I don't know what goes through a person's mind where they pick up a weapon and walk into a crowd of people that they don't know and start killing them. And you see this, and you have friends, with us, we're podcasters, we have friends all over the place. We have friends in Texas, we have friends in Ohio, and, they could have been at the Walmart or they could have been on the street, at that bar and everything. And you just, it's, knock on wood, so far, it hasn't touched me personally, but you can see that the senseless, people were just going out shopping on a Saturday morning. And so not to get into all that stuff, but it breaks your heart and it really just affects you. It just puts you in a kind of a depressed mood, and you fight that. And then, you see what's going on. I try not to watch it. I know it sounds horrible because I think we should be informed because I get the details, and what I don't do is I don't go into the places where they just beat it to death. They're trying to fix it on TV, which is, they can't.
Yeah.
So I had that, this weekend because it was really weird. And I don't know if you have this on your phone, but I can't turn all the notifications off my phone, even when I have it set to do not disturb. At 2:00 in the morning, I had a notification. I was like, what was that? And I woke up and looked at it, and it was about the Dayton, Ohio thing. So had that going on. And again, for me, like I said, I'm battling myself. We did that thing last week where, Bad John, Good John's trying to battle Bad John. And, it's still going on. And it's getting better, but it's still going on. And it's the weirdest thing because I've never noticed how bad this is. I've never stepped back far enough or had someone tell me, try some coping skills and stuff like that.
Are you talking eating-wise?
Yeah, eating disorder-wise. Yeah, so in other words, there's a lot of times where, I want to go out and eat. And then the best thing happened ever was, I think it was Tuesday or Monday, I lost my car keys. I couldn't go out. So I was stuck in the house. So all I had was the food that was here. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't go get a cup of coffee. I couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So I called my ex-wife because she can find anything. She's like a bloodhound. And she says, all right, I'll come over. So she comes over here in 5 minutes. Now, remember, I've been looking for these. I was
going to say, did she open the fridge and pull it out right there?
3 days.
Like, here is the milk. Here are your keys.
I swear she is a witch and conjures these things up. I think she goes in a room and she goes, she wiggles her nose like bewitched and she conjures up and then the keys appear. Because where she found them, I looked 4 times. I was like, I looked there 4 times. She came over in 5 minutes. 3 days I was looking for these keys, tearing out everything.
Yeah.
5 minutes, she found them. So I really appreciate that. So I got my keys back, which was nice because today I actually have to go back to the therapist.
Oh, okay.
And so again, and don't get me wrong, I don't know what to say, but I feel like now I need material. I need material for my therapist. I don't know. I mean, what am I going to go in there and talk about?
I used to think the same thing before my therapy session. When I would go to therapy, I'd spend the whole day thinking about, oh, what am I going to talk about? But I do the same thing when I come to this podcast, like leading up to it. I'm like, what am I going to talk about this week? And then I always feel better when the podcast is over and when I would leave the therapist's office. And
No.
That was what?
Somebody in Facebook says, did I lost sound or is it just me?
No, it came back.
Okay.
Yeah, it came back.
Shh. Okay, so I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
No problem.
and then the other thing is my ADD is on fire right now. I just can't concentrate on anything, and the more I try to concentrate, the worse things get from me.
John, you and I are on the same wavelength, and that's why I pushed you to go first because I'm like, I'm struggling. Mine's a deep thing, and you are like, okay, here's the thing. So the news, and I'm like, oh, that's exactly what I was going to go into. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm scatterbrained, and I'm trying to, and then I'm trying to set up things where alarms. I went out and I bought the lady from Amazon that you talked to. Mm-hmm. You know her name.
Our Amazon Echo friend.
Right. I went out and bought one of them because I don't think my Google friend doesn't do as much as my Amazon friend did. So I said, what the hell? They were on sale. So I got 2 of them. I put one upstairs and one downstairs. So what I did with that is I started setting up reminders and alarms and everything. And my ADD doesn't like that at all.
Oh, really?
It doesn't like it, you know?
Yeah.
Like any kind of reminders or, I just want to lock in to what I'm doing. And to be honest with you, and this is really weird, that the podcasting is more, for me, is a diversion of my life. In other words, this gives me something to escape into. So I do Revive Live every day from 1 to 2. So basically from 11 until 3, I'm getting ready for the show because that show's an animal. It just eats up content. So every day we have every day we have a trivia question. Every day we might have a game or something like that. So I've got to get all that content ready, see who the guest is, see what we're talking about, kind of read or listen to their podcast, read their website and see what's going on. So that's a huge time suck. And then I have the rest of my day going on too. So I'll come down here at 10 o'clock and I won't get up from this chair maybe until 12 midnight.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm just working from one thing to another, to another, to another. And Brenda puts in there, squirrel.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. So it's been tough. And so between the ADD and like the depression and everything that's going on and a little bit of this anxiety, because just the fight, between, my inner fight with myself, it creates a lot of anxiety. So the 3 days that I couldn't get out of the house was actually great eating wise because everything was here. I had my shakes in the morning. Dinner was upstairs. It was great. As soon as I got my keys and was able to go out, I was like, hey, I'm out. I'm like, so then it was the big fist fight. We're not going to Taco Bell. Okay. We're not going to Taco Bell. We're going out. We're going to get maybe a cup of coffee. We're going to go down to the river. We're going to listen to a podcast. We're going to get some fresh air. We're not bringing anything back. We're not going to, we're at Dunkin' Donuts. We're not getting donuts. I know we want donuts, but we're not getting donuts. So, and it's almost like having a brat for a child. It is. That's exactly what it is. It's like I'm a bratty child.
You are struggling with toddler brain right now. Just like, but I want it. Why can't I have it? I don't understand.
I'm a whiny bitch.
Title of the episode, John's a whiny bitch.
John's a whiny bitch. I just don't. Okay, so it's very hard to come on here and talk about this because it's embarrassing.
Yes. Oh my gosh, John. This is honestly why I asked you to go first. And I did not realize that you were going through the exact same thing I'm going through.
And like I said, Shane reached out to me, and it means a lot. You know what I mean?
This is Shane from our group, by the way.
Shane from our group, yes.
For our listeners. And he reached out to John.
So,
we're also going to mention him a little bit later, too.
Yeah. So, you know, because I see what he's doing and I see what other people are doing, and I'm like, well, they're doing it. And I can't, you know, even though I'm a whiny bitch and even though I don't want to, I'm going to hang in here and fight just to see, you know, just to keep up and not let anybody else down. And again, not to let myself down, because I don't know, we're 65 episodes in here and I really feel like I should be further along in weight loss, but
you keep going though. You keep showing up.
I know. But, and I keep working on things that I've never even worked on before. So I really do feel like I'm on the cusp of this, but then again, I have a big fear because, you know, I guess, I don't know, 4 years ago or 3 years, about 4 years ago, I had lost 120 pounds. And I was raging. I was having a problem with the binge eating and everything. And I went to a therapist and they said, stop dieting. And I'm like, okay, all right. So I'll stop dieting. And they're like, do the mindful eating and everything like that. And as soon as I stopped dieting, Bad John was like, I'm back.
He was like giving a hall pass.
Yeah.
He was like, here I am.
Yeah, here I'm back. And I really didn't know how to handle it. So for me, these past 3 weeks has been a real internal fist fight. And right now I feel like I'm winning, but it's still an internal fist fight. And it's weird because it doesn't, the eating disorder doesn't fight fair. It's it's a dirty fighter. That's basically been my week. I feel like I stayed on plan 80% of the time. I lost control a couple of times, but not real bad. And when I say I lost control, I went out to dinner and, you know, I got something and I probably got, I went out to dinner with my daughter last Thursday and I probably ate more than I should have, but it was, you know, it was out as a meal. And again, it wasn't planned, but
did you order like 3 courses and 2 desserts and really like fall off that wagon?
No. So what happened? We went to this one place and it was, I got a sandwich, a pulled pork sandwich, which was really good. And they have these amazing, they make these homemade potato chips, which are amazing. And so basically I took the bun off and I just put the pulled pork on the potato chips and was eating them like hors d'oeuvres. It was really good. But the thing is, they have this great macaroni and cheese, and it's big, so it's like for 2 people. So I ordered it for the both of us. And just for me, I'm like, oh, I shouldn't be eating pasta. I shouldn't be eating potato chips. I didn't plan for it. So, and I was supposed to plan for it, but I just said, well, dinner. And I guess I could have, but I didn't. So these are the things that you think like you've lost, but we didn't get dessert, and we had to, you know, and it was just a meal, and we were out eating, and we sat there. You know, it wasn't like we just came in, ate, shoveled food in and left. We took our time. So I guess in a way it wasn't as bad as I first thought it was.
Yeah.
But that was about it. I mean, that was really my week. And today I have to think of material because after I get done with Revive Live, I have to go do another hour for the therapist.
Oh my goodness. You're going to be repeating the same thing just three times in a row today, I think.
No, well, I mean, Revive is a whole different animal.
That's true.
Yeah, you know, I put my happy face on, I work clean. Mm-hmm. And then when we go, I might repeat this to the therapist because basically this is what this is what we're there for.
Yeah.
My biggest problem, to be honest with you, is when I go on autopilot.
Yeah.
And so that's the biggest problem for me. The nicest thing is now that, like, I have a routine. I get up, I set my alarm for 6 o'clock. I take that whooshy pill so I can have all that nonsense done before we start recording. And I do mean nonsense. And then I come down here and then I have the shakes right in the refrigerator here. So as I get set up, I have that. And then when I get done at 3 o'clock, I have 2 more shakes. So that's lunch. And then when I get done, I go upstairs and eat dinner. Now, a lot of time I'm not upstairs until late, so I'm out of my window. But I still try to eat that third meal because if not, then the next day I go off the rails.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought you kind of put intermittent fasting to the side for now.
Yeah, I mean, but I do like where it's more rigid, where I can, okay, I don't start eating till now, and then this is done. But, sometimes if I set so here's the thing, if I set a timer to go upstairs and eat, I never get back down here again to work.
Yeah.
That's the problem, because then I put myself behind the next day.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, okay, I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to get up until I'm done. And then usually that's like 10, 11 o'clock or something like that. So.
Jennifer in the chat, she said, John, you're growing. And I absolutely agree. Like that, this is you growing, and you're dealing with these tiny missteps that a year ago you would have been like, and instead of on the bun, I put it on the potato chips. And, you would be really excited that you didn't go crazy overboard.
Oh, I would have eaten the bun and put it on the potato chip.
Honestly, if it were me, I would have put the potato chips on the sandwich itself with the bun and eaten the whole thing, and maybe dipped it in the macaroni and cheese. That's how good you made it sound.
Yeah, it was really good, and it was nice because I don't really get a chance to see my oldest daughter that much, and I said, okay, let's just let's go grab a bite to eat, and I just put everything on hold, and we went out. We had a good, like I said, it was a really nice time, and I need to start doing that stuff more.
Yeah. The
other thing I really think I need to start doing here, as far as the podcasting part, is back off some things because I need more time.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do everything for everybody. It's the whole thing. You never want to say no.
Yeah.
Because it sounds, it's fun, but it's work and it takes time.
Yeah. And you're setting boundaries for yourself too. And you and I think we've come into podcasting with the idea that we want to help others. And unfortunately, sometimes that takes over what we ourselves need.
Right. Now, like I said, I'm not going to stop it, but I'm going to cut it back. And then I was talking to Sam last night, and the other thing is that I need to start putting more exercise scheduled in my day, for the simple fact that even though sometimes I'm sore and I feel, I can't walk anymore or anything like that when I get done, it really does give me an emotional boost, more than I've ever realized before. Because there's some days when I'm like, if I got to go to the doctor's, I'm moving around, or I go get groceries and I'm hoofing them up and down the steps. And then when I get done, I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, later on that night, I feel better. I don't have that black cloud hanging over me. So there you go. My week.
So you notice that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing that you're mindful of it. A lot of people, me included, sometimes we'll just go into exercise like, okay, I got to do it so I can cross it off the list.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't really, and for me, because I do yoga every day, by the end of it, if I've gotten to the end of it and I'm still like racing with my thoughts, I realize that I didn't actually do it effectively, because the whole thing with yoga is the mindfulness part of it.
How about that?
Yeah. And I've actually started my routine over a few times again, because I'm like, I don't really feel as good as I do when I'm mindful about it. And I take these 15 minutes. It's so funny. In the moment, those 15 minutes can seem like hours, and it feels like you're being selfish. And it feels like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing this. Someone's going to come down and yell at me for taking this time. And what are you doing yoga? You should be doing 100 other things.
That's a woman thing. And I'll tell you.
Oh, really? Okay.
Absolutely is a woman thing. Women don't think they deserve time to themselves. They think that if they do that, they feel guilty. They're taken away from their family, or they could be doing something else. And the other day, I was talking to Sunny, the co-host on Revive Live, and she went out for the weekend, and she went out with her girlfriends, and they watched a movie, and they had a couple adult beverages. And then the next day, she's in Ohio. She went to a Cleveland Indians game, and, she had an adult beverage and a hot dog and stuff like that. And she was apologizing for it. And I said, damn it, don't you apologize for that.
Yeah.
You work full time. You're a full-time mother. Guys just take it. We're like, hey, listen, if we don't get some time off here, if we can't decompress and go do something fun, we're going to kill something.
My husband needs video game time, and I am happy to give it to him, because sometimes he's like just off the wall, and he comes home from work. And as much as I want to ask him about his day, he works a later shift. So when he gets home, I'm either in bed or I'm ready for bed. And I'm like, I can't take on any more things right now. I can't have any more input going on right now in my life. And he's perfectly happy just playing video games. And I'm really happy for him that he has that he can just go to quickly.
I mean, podcasting for me was that, but women, they do. They think that they can't take time for themselves because they've got children, and that makes them a bad mom because they should be spent something with their children.
Oh my God, the mom guilt. The mom guilt is so real.
Right.
I hate it. It's torturing me, actually.
So don't feel guilty. Go out there and get it done. Go out and have a good time.
Yeah.
You need to be able to do that and decompress. If not, again, after a certain amount of time, you're no good to anyone. You're mad at the kids. You're mad at the husband. You hate the house. You hate your life. Go out, grab your girlfriends, grab a movie, drink some adult beverages if that's what you're into, or, go out somewhere and enjoy yourself and decompress. Have a good time. I mean, you feel guilty for taking 15 minutes to do yoga.
Yep.
15 minutes.
Yep. It's taken a while to get over that guilt, but I still get it a little bit. And I'm like, oh, I should be doing this. I should be starting this. And I'm like, oh, but sometimes, and especially in the middle of the day, sometimes I don't do it in the morning. A lot of times it's part of my morning routine, but sometimes I know if I'm having a stressful day, I actually want to save it for later on. And I will do it right after the baby goes to bed so that I'm still at least active and moving. Because it is so easy in that one instance, once the kids go to bed and you realize you have time to yourself and you have this freedom. And for me, that's when I do a lot of my work. So, I've gotten into, I found myself when he goes to bed, waiting for him to fall asleep, but waiting for him to fall asleep on the couch, on my phone, doing nothing for 40 minutes, listening to him babble himself to sleep, which he does, but I still feel like I need to be there and listen to it. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to go downstairs. Oh, I don't want to do yoga because I might get interrupted and wake. And it's crazy.
Oh my God. I saw the Instagrams of Mark with him on a zip line. He's huge.
He is a big 2-year-old. He's the size of a 3-year-old. He is. Yeah.
He's huge.
Yeah. He is not fat. That's the funny thing. Like he's in the 90th percentile for weight, but he's off the charts for height. So it actually evens out.
He's going to be a big kid.
He is. Yeah. Our doctor told us that at 2, you double their height, and that's what they are as an adult. He's going to be 6'4".
Wow.
He's going to be taller than me and Mark. He's going to put his chin on my head, and I'm going to be like, how did I give birth to you? But that's like 30 years in the future. So.
Well, 30? No. Let's see.
Yeah, I know. Probably like 18.
Yeah.
I know.
It goes fast. Trust me.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right. So that's my week. Are you ready yet?
That actually transitions me into my week because I am dealing with the same anxiety. I am so honestly relieved that you brought up the news. We normally don't talk about the news on the show. We're not a lot of it doesn't affect our weight loss, but the 2 shootings this past weekend, and I'm like a lot of those in the chat. I know Jason saying that he doesn't watch the news anymore. And I've been actually trying to do that, but certain things seep in. And the fact that my husband works for a newspaper, I hear about this stuff.
Sure.
And
how can you not?
You can't. Honestly, like I've been able to tune out a lot, and I've been very grateful for that. And that's kind of helped me stay focused. But something about that, combined with Shark Week, combined with this slump that I got as soon as I got back from traveling. Like, at first I thought it was jet lag. And then when it wasn't going away, the more I was sleeping, the more I wanted to sleep. And I was like, oh my gosh, is this a depression? I started looking up, is there such a thing as a travel, like after travel depression? And there is. And I was in an after travel depression. On top of that, I had hormones going for PMS and then my period. And on top of that, I have, like you, I have ADD and ADHD, depending on the H is weird because for women, a lot of us, when we're diagnosed with ADHD, the H isn't as prevalent, the hyperactive part.
Yeah, I don't have that either.
Yeah. So, girls especially, it's very hard to diagnose in young girls because the H part, a lot of people may remember, like growing up and knowing the one kid in class with ADHD, and he was kind of off the wall, and he was given Ritalin. He was able to sit in the back and walk around and move his body. And for girls, young girls, when you have ADHD as a kid, you internalize it because you see that behavior of the boy with ADHD, and you're like, oh, well, I don't want to be like that. So you internalize it. And it's actually a little bit more dangerous as you're growing up because you can't be diagnosed and you don't know what it is. And a lot of the times with ADHD, you're diagnosed with anxiety because that's a symptom of it.
Right.
And it took me a while in therapy, like 2 years before my therapist finally, he's listening to me talk about my anxiety, and he's like, let's just take this ADHD test.
Aced it. Jason in the chat said, yeah, I know. Jason in the chat says he has the same thing. He has every time he travels, when he comes back, there's like that depression thing. And maybe it's because you're back, if you're out on vacation or doing something, or if you're at a conference and you're having this great time and then you're back into your life again. And it's like, oh, now here I am again. Or you use so much energy.
Yes.
At the conference, especially for us introverts.
Yep.
Because we can listen, you and I can sit in here on a mic and talk all day.
Yeah.
When you put us in a room with 10 people and we have to talk, I got an hour in me. And then and then I got to get out. And it's weird. It's really weird. But behind the mic, I'll talk all day.
We were doing one-on-one consultations and one-on-one getting deep with people. And the thing with consultations for me, and I'm learning this more, is I really have to just sit back and ask questions and let them talk. And I'm not even listening. Well, I'm listening to their answers, but I'm also listening to what people get really excited about and realize that that's what I have to draw out of them for them to put that into their podcast. That's a lot of mental work. And you were talking before about getting ready for Revive Live. All that mental energy, us talking right now, this isn't a lot of mental energy because we're talking about what we went through.
Right.
We've already gone through it. We're kind of putting it out there for feedback. Like I'm putting it out there for feedback from you and also from our chat room and also from those who write into the show after they listen to it. And we really appreciate that, by the way. It is a tremendous help for us, for me at least. But the mental energy, when you're not just talking about something that already happened, when you're trying to create something out of nothing with just your mind alone, like you're prepping for the show, you're coming up with trivia, you're finding out about the guest. I mean, that takes a toll on you.
I know. And then here's the other thing too. There's a lot of stuff that goes on when you're doing a live show that like the guests maybe not show up. Mm-hmm. We have one where the guest doesn't show up and then we've got a whole hour to fill.
Yep.
And so I'm to the point now where I can fill an hour on my head. It doesn't matter. But with me is like yesterday, I had to deliver a mic to your friend and now my friend, right? So I have to meet him in a parking lot. Of course, we start talking podcasting, right?
Also, okay, sidebar, please don't leave me in the group chat when you guys are like talking about all this
I forgot that you were in there. I honestly forgot.
Like, oh my gosh, I know exactly where they are.
Why don't you
all times.
You should have just got out, left.
I didn't want to be rude and have that weird thing pop
be
up
rude.
of like, Emily Prokop has left this conversation.
What took her so long? So anyhow, so we go there and we're talking podcast, nicest guy in the world. Mm-hmm. For about an hour, I'm like, how do I end this conversation? So finally I said, hey, it's been great talking to you. I really got to get going. I really didn't have anywhere to go, but I just had to get out of that. I had to get out of there.
Well, it was a lot. It was a lot of socializing, peopling.
It's a lot of peopling.
And
peopling.
It's peopling. Peopling is so stressful. I got back from the conference and I'm like, I am done peopling. But then how did I go into a depression when I was finally like, oh my gosh, I'm home. I'm where I wanted to be. I mean, I love the people I was traveling with, but it was like a lot of strangers and getting to know people and worrying about like, oh my God, they're going to email me and I'm not going to remember who they are. Or anything.
I think the depression comes from, being on for so long. And then,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you finally get to get back into your space, it's that when you're coming off of a high like that and it's almost like a roller coaster, you just don't go to the bottom, you go under.
Yeah.
And then you're under and then you got to come back up. It's like, okay, so what it's like you're on a diving board, you're high on a diving board, you jump into the water, You go under the water for a little while, and then you're like under the water, and you're like, wow, when am I going to get to the top? And then you pop up at the top, and then you're kind of okay. That's the same thing, isn't it? It's like a sine wave. Yeah. Here we are talking again. So it's like you climb up, you had a great time. Then all of a sudden, the flight back, stressful because, sitting on the tarmac and all that. You get home, everybody wants to see you. The cats are all over you. The kids are all over you and all that.
Yeah. And then all the things that haven't gotten done for 10 days.
Right. Now you're trying to catch up.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah.
You're buried underneath.
Yep.
And then you're like, oh, I can't do this anymore. And then all of a sudden, after you start to get on the other side of it, you kind of pop up and you're okay.
Oh, I haven't gotten to the pop-up part yet. Because the sharks have come. The
sharks are hovering over you, not letting you to the surface.
No, they're just swimming around. They're being like, oh, and by the way, so you're not going to have kids this month. Well, that's probably a good idea. Right. But we're going to make this week hell for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's been my week. Yesterday, I had a full-blown panic attack where I was honestly in the kitchen crying, and it got to the point where I realized all the different parts of kind of when you're in a panic attack and you're allowed to talk. Like, my husband is wonderful. He also has panic attacks, so he just knows, like, I don't need you to fix it.
Just need you to sit there.
I just need you to sit there. I just need to, like, unload this on you. And he is so supportive, and he will always just hug me, and he'll be like, do you want to go lay down in bed and just cry on me? And that's what I ended up doing. But in part of just venting and getting it out, I ended up screaming something like, I don't know why I'm working and doing all this travel when these shootings are happening, and really I should just be spending time with my kids before they go to school and I don't see them again because they're going to get shot. And that is where, like, that is a scary thing.
Sure it is.
And that is where my mind has been circling around that thought since.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. I got 2 kids in school right now. Mm-hmm. And, I got a senior, my youngest daughter is in high school. My son is in a special school because he has autism. But, so last year there was a couple times where they had to shut the school down because there was threats, and then so you have to have this conversation. You have to sit down and have a conversation with your kid, like what you're going to do, what you're going to hear, if you hear what to do, just to get it in their mindset so they don't freeze.
Yeah.
You have to have those conversations with your kids, and it breaks your heart because you can't be there. You can't even be there.
I know. And it's just, I mean, like, to the point where I was telling Mark, I'm like, I don't care if they're $115. They have bullet resistant backpacks and we are getting them. Like, I don't care. We will put them on the front and the backs of our kids. And he's like, you will get through this.
Yeah.
This is your mind. A lot of this is your mind.
Well, because, and I mean, unfortunately you went through that in Connecticut. There was the Sandy Hook thing, and that was close to you.
Yeah. And that's something that's the reason I'm not in newspapers anymore, because I couldn't do it after that.
I see a lot of people now are taking their kids out of school and they're homeschooling them.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's like I said, if you can do that, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. And I do apologize because we're not so much talking about.
But it affects you.
It does.
It really affects you. Whether you want to admit it or not, it really does affect you. And we've talked before on the show how weight loss isn't just dieting and exercise. It's eat
mental.
A salad and take a walk, Tubby.
No, it's all these tiny factors in your life that, no one size fits all formula is going to fix. And also knowing that if I'm thinner and if I lose weight, it doesn't mean these problems go away. That's not going to make school shootings stop.
I know. So anyhow, that's part of it. That's part of the depression that grabs you. I can't watch any of those news shows where they talk about this and all because I want to throw something to TV. Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous. To me, it's a bunch of morons talking about stuff that never would work in the first place. Whatever.
Well, and here's what I've been doing, though, that I am really grateful for. So one thing that this podcast in particular has really cemented for me is my routine, because I love having a routine, talking about a routine. You were talking about your routine. It's wonderful to have that to fall back on. Every day I write my morning pages and I write my to-do list. It might be overwhelming, but the top section are very basic things. They are the very basic things of brushing my teeth,
Saw that.
flossing, getting water,
Yeah.
doing my yoga, making my bed, getting dressed is on my to-do list for the simple fact that I have gone through periods where if I'm very anxiety ridden, I will wear the same clothes for days and not even realize it because I'm just up and I'm like, well, I'm going to hop in the shower and, oh, well, those pants are still out. Let's just put them on, keep going. Or if I'm really down, how many days in a row have I worn this shirt? And so that's one of those things, like having that checklist and checking that off. And I love that you do feel a little boost of dopamine when you check something off. It's a proven fact and it's so good for me. And it's so weird that like brushing my teeth and checking it off, as much as it makes me feel like a 5-year-old, I still like it. I love it. I love those check marks and having that routine.
It's like, what did you do today? This?
Yes, exactly. It's one of those things that I'm not at the end of my day going like, I did nothing. I did absolutely nothing. But oh my gosh, if I flossed, I give myself a pat on the back because flossing every day is new to me. So I'm just.
How about that? Okay.
I know.
So you wanted to talk about Sean.
Yes.
You said you had that in there. So why don't we do that?
Shane. Yeah, we have Shane.
Shane. I'm an idiot.
No.
I don't even know my own name.
Do you want to start that over again?
No.
Oh, okay.
I leave a lot of, you notice I've been leaving a lot more of my flubs in.
Yeah.
Because
okay.
mistakes are part of life,
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect.
Po body's perfect.
Absolutely.
So we have Shane in the group and he posted on Tuesday. I'm so glad he went with the Transformation Tuesday hashtag, which we don't normally do in the group. We have a lot of themed hashtags. If you're in the group, we have Winning Wednesday, we have Goalpost Sunday, we have Fitbit Friday or Fitness Friday. So if you're using a Fitbit or anything like that, you can post your screenshots of how you did that week. But Shane did Transformation Tuesday. And he gave us a picture and he goes, well, here is a side-by-side comparison of where I was in March 2018 and where I am today. I think it's pretty motivating, and looking at this old picture keeps me going. Change is only a few months away for everyone. Even when you don't see it in yourself, it is happening. So just stick to it and you won't regret it.
And
Shane,
I gotta tell you,
look amazing.
You know what? Here's the story. You know what it looks like? It looks like there's a picture of Shane and Shane's older brother.
Yeah.
He looks younger.
And the older brother is the before picture.
Yeah, the before picture.
Yes. And everyone's been saying in the comments, he looks 10 years younger. He looks great. The thing is, he looks great and happy in both pictures. I think Shane is just a wonderful human being, and it shows in just his smile. So
absolutely.
It's so nice to see these pictures, and we are so proud of you, Shane, and we hope you are proud of yourself as well. And
then the picture under that is Jennifer, and she put this meme in there. It says, and now to find out who's been sabotaging my diet, and it's the Scooby-Doo where, they take the mask off.
Fred pulls the mask off,
right.
And it's Fred.
And it's Fred.
Yeah, it's himself. Yeah.
Damn it. That was smart. Great one. Mm-hmm. All right. So why don't we get into the rest of our Winning Wednesdays?
Yes.
Winning Wednesday, Winning Wednesday, Winning Wednesday, Winning Wednesday, Winning Wednesday.
All right, so we have Winning Wednesdays, and thank you for everyone who gets really excited for Winning Wednesdays, and there's like, when is it going to be posted? Usually in the late morning, Eastern time, so yesterday it was at 10:30 a.m., so just so you know, it's usually around that time. I try to make it not too early, but... So Ingrid said she went to the doctor and she is happy about my A1C being lower. I also lost 10 pounds in 3 months. That's wonderful.
That is amazing. Deborah says, the scale was good to me this week, but I'm going to try something new. I'm going to start recording a 7-day average loss instead of a once-a-week total. The fluctuations are too stupid.
I love that. The fluctuations are just too stupid. Right. I love that.
Side note, I discovered this through Dave Jackson's podcast with his interview with Kayla Cox. I started listening to her podcast and really like it. So that's great. And again, we're all about sharing podcasts, and I want to find out where Kayla's podcast is, because can we put that in the show notes?
I would love to put that in the show notes. So I'm not sure if it's Dave Jackson School of Podcasting, or it could be Dave Jackson on
Logical Weight Loss.
Logical Weight Loss. So
Right.
we'll find out, and I will put it in the show notes. We can Google this. Dave Jackson knows SEO well enough that I can find him on Google pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure. The School of Podcasting guy. He knows how to make his podcast known.
That's true.
Brenda says, I lost the 2.2 pounds that I gained last week, and I'm going to the gym tonight after a brief hiatus. Yay!
Andrea says, day 1 fast completed, 19 hours. This is my second shot at it. I got scared after a good loss and to gain it back. This time I'll get more support at that point.
I've done it before.
Yeah.
Where you get a really good loss and you're like, oh, this can't be right. I got to eat this away. I got to gain this back. Marty says camping at Renaissance Fair and so far able to stay in my window and eat well. Haven't exercised much, but not for lack of trying. Oh, if you're camping in any way or at a Renaissance Fair, you are walking.
Yeah, you're getting exercise.
You are.
Absolutely. Amy says, finished out our vacation by not gaining any weight. My weekly average was exactly the same as last week. That's a win considering some of the food I had.
Annette said, gave myself a good talking to last week and downloaded the Carb Manager app. Attempting low carb / keto this week and have lost 4.5 pounds since last Thursday. Resting heartbeats per minute have dropped by 6, and I'm feeling much more positive.
There you go. You know, whenever I read Annette's posts, I always read it in English, in my mind, an English accent.
Oh, really? Is Annette from...
Yes, she's from across the pond. Yes.
Oh, okay.
All right. Emily says...
No, it's not me. I copied and pasted Jennifer's.
I was getting to that.
Okay.
Emily says, so we don't forget. Jennifer says, I finally got the courage to let go of a bag of clothes that were too big for me and pass them down to a friend in need. Also, to my surprise, I fit in a size small swimsuit. Huh?
Oh, now I wish I did post that.
Right? I've never been able in my life to wear a small swimsuit. So there you go. There are Winning Wednesdays. All right, here we go.
Let's go! Ladies and gentlemen, now is the time for the moment you have all been waiting for. It's time for the weigh-in.
What are we? We're on an odd episode. We're on 65. And since my name has an odd number of letters in it, I get to go first. John, believe it or not, with all this anxiety and Shark Week and a little bit of depression, I gained and lost 0 pounds.
Hey.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the interesting thing. And that's why I really went into the routine is I was always in my window.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that as long as I stay in my window, and honestly, 3 days ago when it was just the worst of it, my food was a nightmare. If I kept a food diary, it would have included 3 puddings in one day. I'm not even joking. My daughter just got braces, so we're getting a lot of soft food into the house.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Pudding, ice cream,
Pudding,
mashed potatoes, all
yeah,
that.
I got yogurt in there, which is, getting some yogurt in there, but soft foods. Wow, they are all very calorie laden.
Yes.
Like I was looking at marshmallows. I'm like, she can have these. And I'm like, that's a terrible idea.
That's just sugar.
I know.
Marshmallow
that's
is just
the last thing I wanna
inflated
give her.
sugar is all that is. When I found out how they made marshmallows, I was like, holy cow. All right. So for me, I lost 1 pound.
8 pound. 1.
1
wow.
pound. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Well, like I said, I told you I wasn't allowed to go out for the house for 3 days.
But still, that's amazing.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not poo-pooing it at all. So I think we're at 101 now.
101. Yeah.
Easy listening 101. All right. Well, okay. So we had a bad week and it didn't kill us.
But we didn't. But it didn't kill us.
What I mean a bad week, with everything that was going on.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a bad week and we didn't, eat our feelings.
No, oh, well, we did. But
Okay. Okay.
Me.
Right. So, and then, but at the end of the week, when we got on the scale, it was good. And and a lot of in the chat, people are saying you're growing, you're learning and all. And I do feel that way. I'm just going to start incorporating different things in there and see where it goes. And then we'll see where it goes from there. Well, listen, thank you so much for listening. And if you're not in the chat, which we do 11 o'clock on Thursdays, a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, my question is, why not? All you have to do is go to hatetowait.com/Facebook and sign up. And it's very easy to do. We love it if you subscribe to the show. If you're listening, you're subscribed. Why am I even talking? Stop it, John. Okay.
You're doing wonderfully. Maybe if they're listening, they're not subscribed yet, and that's why we like to remind people.
Right.
Because if this is your first episode, this is a heavy first episode, by the way. So go back to some of our lighter episodes.
Or maybe this is what you need too, because this is people were saying, yeah, you know something, I'm feeling that too.
We're all going through this, and there's also I know we're in our outro, but I also did some research. There's also such a thing as an August depression.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Because summer's coming to an end.
Yep. Summer's coming to an end.
That's true. Yeah,
we're anxious about starting up with everything in school, and if you're a parent, we're worried about your kids. Oh my gosh, just everything. It is the perfect storm right now.
Right. Emily does an amazing job with the show notes. Anything we've talked about, any links we have, she has them in the show notes. She's an amazing show note person, and I'm glad she is my partner in this podcast. I couldn't have a better person and someone that I love to come in here and share my week with. And thank you so much to all of you in the group that share and keep me motivated too. You guys are amazing. All right. Next week, we will be back, and hopefully things will be a little bit lighter and a little bit more fun. And we'll talk to you then. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Annette says, gave myself a good talking to last week and downloaded the carb man. My cat just ruined everything.
Princess Penelope
von Purry Pants of the Purry Pants Kingdom.
I still can't get through the whole thing, but
nobody can. I've been saying it for 10 years. That's the only way I can. And it was, her name was just added to. Oh my God, how did you lose everything, Princess? All right.
I could not believe it. I've been able in my... All you have to do is go to Facebook. No,